welcome back to the channel, Bookish Babes. Today I will be sharing with you guys the 50 books I've read so far. I was going to film this video on Monday, which was June 26th, but Goodreads was down the entire day. So what I did was go into my Notions. I had already started this into my Notion, but I had to go back and watch a few of my videos to get the books that I read and my ratings on such books. So from now on, I'll be using my Goodreads to track my books because that right there was enough for me. That'll do it. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with January reads and what I rated those. Now the first of the year, the very first day of the year, I think I read Six of Crows. I ended up getting this book a 4 stars. I enjoyed the book. A lot of people say it's like a 5-star series. I have not read Crooked Kingdom yet, so I might get around to reading Crooked Kingdom next month just to see how I feel about it. It's basically about 6 thieves, and a lot of people tell you to read Shadow and Bones and then go into this, but you really don't have to because, well, I can't even say because I only read the first book of Shadow and Bones. After I read this, I then read, no, I think I read Shadow and Bone first. I don't know when I read Shadow and Bones, but I just know I didn't read it this year. So last year I read Shadow and Bones, and then I read this. I wasn't really feeling Shadow and Bones. I watched the show. I think maybe because I watched the show before I read the book, but so far this is a 4-star read for me. After I read this, I went in and read The Fletcher by Beth O'Leary. I gave this book a no. I did not read this book first. Next, I read Stand In by Lily Chu, which I actually listened to on Audible, and I gave that book a 3 star. It's basically about this celebrity that found this lady that looked exactly like her, and she was basically going out on outings, doing things that she didn't want to do because she was basically depressed, and then no one around her really knew she was depressed because they just wanted her to be on go at all times. So she hired this lady that looked exactly like her to stand in for her, to go to events and stuff like that. So I gave that book a 3 star. I enjoyed the book. It was a pretty good book. After reading that, then I went in and read The Fletcher. I filmed a video reading log on this book right here. I gave the book a 4 star. It's basically about this guy who was looking for a flatmate, mainly because he was trying to save money to help his brother get out of jail because he was wrongfully convicted for something he didn't do. And if they would have investigated more, they would have knew this. But he was saving up to get a lawyer for his brother to plead his innocence. And then it moved Tiffy, and Tiffy ended up having a lawyer friend, and the book went on from there. I enjoyed the book. I gave the book a 4 star. If you want to see my full thoughts on the book, you can check out the video. I'll link it up in the cards for you guys. Then I read A Simple Wild. I believe I did a video on this. I cannot say for certain. I think I did. If I did, I'll link it up above in the cards as well. I gave this book a 4 stars. It's basically about Kelly Fletcher. Her dad stays in Alaska, and he's basically over this, like, I guess you would say, charter company. He's a charter plane where they basically do a lot of things. They go bring people back into town. They take people to the doctor. They pick up food and bring it to, because it's like it's Alaska. Should I say more? I gave it a 4 star. I love the book. I love anything small time romance. I love this. After reading that, I went in and read Rock, Paper, and Scissors by Alex Feeney. I mainly read this book because a lot of people was talking about how good this book was and the hype behind this book and how they enjoyed this book so much. I enjoyed it at the end because I did not guess what happened. I thought I did, but I did not. The ending really did shock me, so I ended up giving it a 4 stars. I was going to give it a 3 star, but at the ending, how the book ended, I just gave it a 4. So that's that. And then I read Addicted After All by Christy and Becca Ritchie. 5-star reads. I love all the Addicted series, Addicted Calloway books. Fine Family. I love Lily and Lowe. I love Daisy and Reich. I love Connor and Rose. I love all of them. anything from this series, 5-star for me. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. And then bringing in February, I know this book released January 31st or 30th or something like that. I dived into Cal and Lana's story. It's basically a small town romance. Well, I don't know why I keep saying basically. It's a small town romance. It's part of the Dreamland Billionaire series where each of the brothers had to complete a task from their grandfather, and in order to receive their inheritance. And Cal had to go back to a lake. I don't even want to butcher the name. I think it's like Wishtira, and sell the lake house. But when he get there, he found out that Lana is living there and she's part owner to such lake house, and they have to agree on what to do with the lake house. Enjoyed this. It talked about Cal's traumas and his struggles with alcohol addiction and how he overcome that. Like it's really, I love this book. 5-star, 5-star read. After that, I went in. I realized that Tessa Bailey had came out with a new book, which was Secretly Yours. I love Tessa Bailey book. If you've been watching me, you know that I absolutely am in love with It Happened One Summer by her. So I went into this thinking like I'm gonna fall in love with this book. I gave it a 3-star mainly because it would have been a 2-star, but I gave it a 3-star mainly because of the insert at the end of the book about Piper and Brendan. That's why I give it a 3-star. But then again, I really should just leave it as a 2-star. I really wasn't even feeling the main characters in this book. Like they just wasn't. It just wasn't given what needs to be gave. I was not here for this book. I gave it a 3 stars, but I was being generous with the extra star because of the insert from the end of Happy One Summer. Now, the next book I read was House Across the Lake. I love this book. I am going to actually reread this book soon. This book was so amazing to me. Like I heard the hype about this book and I thought like, okay. Well, first of all, I'm not a thriller girl. I don't like thrillers. I don't watch scary movies. I was born on Halloween and I hate anything thriller, mystery related. Creeps me out. Can't sleep. I am totally jumpy anytime I watch it. When I read this, I was obsessed. I sped through this book. Do you hear me? Like I went through this book like crazy. I gave this book a 5 stars. It's basically about this famous actress. She was living across the lake from this model in a glass house, and she was watching them. It's a lot of twists and turns. Like the ending of this book, I was out. Like what happened in this book, I would never in my brain thought that's the direction she was gonna go with the book, or he was gonna go with the book. But if you read The House Across the Lake, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I did not think that that's the direction it was going to go. But 5 stars for me. Absolutely adored this book. I then read Mary Jane. It's like all the books that I think I wouldn't like, I actually loved. And the same thing with Daisy Jones and the Six. I thought I wasn't going to like that book. 5-star read. Absolutely love that book. Same thing with Mary Jane. I love this book so much. I gave it a 5 stars. I love every character in this book. I love Mary Jane. I love the mom and the dad, the child. I love I just love everything about this book. This book is amazing. If you haven't read Mary Jane yet, I suggest you go out and read it. This book right here is it's just amazing. The next book I read after Mary Jane was Things We Hide from the Light. I gave this book a 5 stars. I enjoy anything Lucy score right. It's automatically a 5-star to me. Well, let me not say that because I haven't read all her books. I only read 2 of them so far. After reading Things We Never Got Over by her, I was obsessed. I just absolutely love the little small town of Knock 'em Out. I love all the characters, the found family. I love everything. This book right here is about Nash's brother. Wait, is his name Nash? I can't even remember their name. It's about what is this guy name? Knox. His name is Knox. It's not. Yeah, it's Knox. This book is about Nash. Knox, his brother. He was a police officer. He ended up getting shot. Wait. Well, it tells you on the back. He ended up getting shot and things we never got over. And this book picks up exactly where it left off in his point of view and how he got over his PTSD, a small town romance. It just I can't wait till Lucian and Stallone book come out. 5-star for things we never got over. I'm saying things we got over the light. The next book I read was The Perfect Marriage. Now this is about this lawyer and her writer husband. Her husband ended up being framed for killing his mistress, and she ended up standing in as his lawyer. Her husband maintained innocence, said he didn't do it, but he was the last one seen with her, and he was just feeling like trying to blame it on the husband because he kept saying like her husband was abusive. They was just doing a whole bunch of cheating in this book. Let's get that out the way. A whole bunch of cheating. Cheating. They was just cheating stuff in this book. So that's what this is about. I gave this book, I want to say a 3-star. 3 stars for Perfect Marriage. 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It's supposed to be like a mystery. So basically trying to figure out if he killed, like, first of all, the way this book ended, I felt like in my, like, call me a psychopath, but I felt like I knew who did it because in my brain after reading it, I was like we here with it because I would have did the same thing, but no, I wouldn't. But after reading this, I mean I knew it. I felt like I knew what happened. It ended up being exactly what I thought, but it was so much deeper than what I thought. So yeah, that is the end of February on to March. Let me bring March over here. And March and April. So we're gonna bring March and April TBR for books that I read over here onto the TBR card. Whew. Now the first book I read in March was 7 Days in June. Now I gave this book a 3 stars because I felt like all the characters in this book, I'm saying everybody that got a POV in this book was not warranted. I didn't care. I just really wanted to know about Eva, Shane, and Eva's daughter. That's it. That's all. That's who all I wanted to hear from. I did not care about Eva's best friends, her next door neighbor, her mom, the guy down the street. Didn't care. I gave it a 3-star. I enjoyed this book, but I just couldn't wrap my head around, like, why did you feel the need to put everybody POV in this book? Like, I didn't care. I just wanted Eva and Shane and maybe Eva's daughter. That is it. That is all. Gave this book 3 stars. I did enjoy it though. It was a pretty good book. So yeah. After reading that, I read The Housemaid. Now I'm gonna tell you one thing about this book right here. I was obsessed. I was obsessed. Millie, Nina, and Andrew. I did not think, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I just thought the wife was a psychopath. I thought she was just crazy as hell. That was where my mind went. I thought she was just crazy, but the twists, the turns, I gave this book a 4 stars. Enjoyed it. If you haven't read The Housemaids, please do so. It's The Housemaids and Housemaid Secrets. Please read this book. I enjoyed this book so much. After reading The Housemaid, I read the most traumatizing book of my life, and I ended up not even finishing it because this book right here is 100% trauma porn. It is so jam-packed full of the trauma, like the codependence of the friends, the like his friends really, how can I put it? Like I made a video on this book. I'm video on this book as well. I'll link it above for you. The way that they wasn't really trying to advocate for him and trying to get him the help he deserved. It was just like, if you do this, I'm going to get you admitted. he did it. No one didn't. Like, it was just so crazy to me. I know a lot of people give this book a 5-star, but I just could not wrap my brain around being this traumatized. Like, I was bought the whole time. I think I made it for like 70 to 80% of this book, and I was crying so much because I could not wrap my brain around it. I could not wrap my brain around this book at all. I ended up giving this book a 3-star. Anyways, now that we're done with that, I then read Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. I read this book of 4 stars. I'm not big on miscommunication trope. The way that some of the stuff that happened in this book, they could have actually been adults and talked about, was baffling to me, because the way they carried on, I was just like, why don't you just, like, y'all friends, call them, talk to them, like, why would you ghost each other? It was crazy. And I'm not even talking about at the point where they were kids. I understand that. When they was adults working together. So, I gave the book a 4-star. But, you know, that's my opinion. I know, I think I posted a video on that, and someone was like, why did you give it a 4-star? I don't do miscommunication tropes. That just bother my spirits, especially when you're an adult. It's like, talk about it. Like, don't act like a child. The next book I ended up listening to on Audible, it was Coming Home. It was a Come Home novella by Kennedy Ryan. It's basically about this HCU. This lady, I don't even remember the name. He and her was like in love with each other for a while, but every time they tried to get in a relationship with each other, it was just wrong time. It was like bad timing, basically. But she was with someone, if she wanted somebody, he was with someone. So I ended up giving it a 3-star. She really should make that a whole book, because I really did enjoy the concept of a HBCU homecoming event type thing. It was amazing. But after that, I read Icebreaker. I did not know that. Well, I'm not even gonna say I didn't know, because I read like a couple of sports romance. They are so full of spice. Like, these books are so full of smut that it is crazy. It is mind blowing. I gave this book a 5-star. I enjoyed this book so much. Like, Anastasia and Nate. Enjoyed them, love their relationship, love the characters. It's a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. She's the grumpy one. He's the golden retriever, I guess you would say. But I enjoyed this book so much. Like, it was amazing. Ugh. There's a lot of these books I just want to go back and reread. After reading Icebreaker, I read Mile High on my Kindle. I gave the book a 4 stars. It's basically about a hockey player and a flight attendant. 5 stars. I'm saying 4 stars. Absolutely love that book. I just didn't like how she just kept bashing herself. Like, she had such low self-esteem that it was crazy to me. Yeah, that's what I gotta say about that book. I read that, and then I read My Toxic Best Friend, Magnolia Park. Yeah, one thing I noticed in life is when you've been in a toxic relationship, you don't like reading about toxic people, but when you're in a healthy relationship, you enjoy toxic relationships in books. Me, I don't like toxic relationships. Like, I was so aggravated with this book. Now, I gave this book 4 stars. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. First of all, the way it ended had me ready to fight somebody, because I just was like, I just could not. Child, the way this book ended, I was so, I just did not know what the heck to do with my life, because I just could not believe it. Like, that is not what I thought. It just wasn't what I thought. But child, BJ and Magnolia are toxic. When I first read this book, I was thinking they was in some type of prep school or a high school or something. These are grown people behaving the way they behaving. Grown adults at their big age behaving the way they was behaving in this book. Ridiculous. 4 stars. Ridiculous. The next book I read was City and Bones. I read this book 3 stars. It's basically about this girl who kind of stumbles into the magic world because her mother, I don't even know how to explain this book. I gave this book with 3 stars. That's it. I can't even explain this book to y'all, so 3 stars for that one. Then I end up going on vacation in April. Hold on, January, March, April. I ended up going on vacation in April and end up taking along Once Upon a Broken Heart. I gave this book 3 stars. I enjoyed the book. It was good. I just don't know what was about it. What it was about it that didn't give me 5-star reads like everyone else. 3 stars for this one. Then the ending of that book, the very ending of that book made me want to jump into The Ballad of Never After, which I gave a 5 stars. I enjoyed this book so much. I cannot wait until the next book come out. The way this book ended had me in a choke hold. I can't wait. I just cannot. I think it's called A Curse of True Love. Can't wait till the next book come out. This book right here, 5-star read. The way it ended, choke hold. Okay, so after reading that, the next book I read was Amari and the Great Game. This is a middle grade book. It's basically about Amari. I don't want to go too much in depth into this book because this is book 2. She's basically goes off to this supernatural summer camp and she finds out that she's a magician, which is frowned upon in this society. Her brother is a part of what is that called? I don't even remember what they're called, but him and this other girl, they're part of Vanquish. They're supposed to be like the supernatural, powerful little group team up or whatever. I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely love Amari. Anything he writes about Amari. This is the first book, Amari and the Night Brothers, and this is the second one, Obsessed with Amari. Like, I absolutely love this book. So, I gave this book a 4 star. No, yeah, 5 stars. I gave this book 5 stars. The next book I read was Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I gave this book a 4 stars. Well, it's basically about this girl who is house sitting at this like it's like a very fancy rich people place called Bartholomew, and everyone in there is like really secretive. So she's actually getting paid to stay in this house to basically be like a placeholder so that apartments in the house won't be empty. And the apartment in the building won't be empty. They don't like any empty apartments, so they pay people to come live there, which is kind of cool, but it would have been a red flag to me automatically because why would you want to pay me to stay in this house? The way this book had me flying through because I was so shocked. I absolutely love this book. Amazing. The next book I read was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jules. This book is about this girl named Ellie Mack who ended up disappearing out of nowhere. She was walking, she went to the library, and that was the last time her parents saw her. Now, search up the trigger warnings before reading this book. This book had me so shook that it was crazy. I enjoyed this book. I don't even remember what I got. I think I gave the book a 4-star. I gave it a 4-star. This book had me so shook that it was crazy. Search up the trigger warnings before reading this. 4-star reads. I enjoyed it. Absolutely loved the book. That was April. No. I'm lying. I have 3 more books that I read in April, but they was on my Kindle. It was The Housemaid Secrets. I gave the book a 4 stars. It's the same book by Millie, but she's working for different clients now. She's basically known for her talents that I don't even want to tell you too much about that book because it'll ruin the first book for you guys. So I gave it a 4 stars. The next book was Never Lied. That was by Freedom McFadden. She also wrote The Housemaids. So she's also the same author. I gave the book a 3 star. It's basically about this doctor who goes missing and everybody is trying to figure out what happened to her. So that's all I remember about that book. I gave the book 3 stars. I love Freedom McFadden writing. Amazing author. The next book was The Good Lie. 3 stars for that book. I'll put it on the screen right here. So I gave the book a 3 star. So on to May reads. I don't think I read many books in May, if I'm not mistaken. I think all the books I read, well, majority of the books I read in May was on my Kindle. So the very first one, go right here, is Already Loved by A.E. Valdez. Gave the book 5 star. Anything A.E. Valdez write never misses. The way that she write romance in those books will just automatically suck you in. I love Asher and Marissa. That book amazing. I need to order the physical copies of these books because the next book I read on my Kindle was A Villain Kiss. I gave that book a 2 stars. I ran across that book. I was on TikTok and the lady that was narrating the book, she was narrating the book on TikTok. And when she was reading it, the book sounds so good. But when I started reading it, I just was not feeling that book. I gave it a 2 star and that was that on that. After that, I read Emily Henry new release, Happy Place. I gave this book a 4.75. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I finally finished reading all of Emily Henry's books. I read People We Meet on Vacation this month. So, yeah. I read this. I gave it a 4.75. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Amazing book. One thing about Emily Henry, she's going to always write some amazing books. I will read anything she writes. Her, Tessa Bailey, Candy Ryan, A. Valdez. Anything they write, I'm reading. Absolutely love those ladies writing. The next book I listened to on, I would say it was an audiobook on Kindle Unlimited. It was Megan Quinn's Vacation Wars. I was heading to Atlanta, so I put it on. And I enjoyed that book. I'm not even gonna lie. That book was pretty good. I gave that book a 4 stars. It was amazing. It's about these twin sisters who every summer since they was growing up, they went to this island, and one of the sisters was obsessed with the guy that was what would they call a lifeguard. Well, he basically did everything on the island, well, at the resort, but they called them the Bulls because, you know. But anyways, I enjoyed that book. Gave it a 4 stars. Amazing book. Love the book. Then after reading that, I went into the very last book of Akatar, and that was A Court of Severed Flames. I was putting this book off because I just did not want to end this series. So I went out and bought the paperback of it. Although I have the hardcover right here, I bought the paperback to go with the rest of my colorful books. I'm obsessed. I gave this book a 5 star. I love the growth. I love Cassian. I love just being able to see Feyre and Ryzen, and I just love to see everyone from the series in this book. I'm just obsessed. I really want to just go back and read the whole series over again because I read those like last year, if I'm not mistaken. I read these last year, and I'm just so obsessed with Miss Sarah J. Maas. I cannot wait till the 3rd Crescent City book come out. Sedate me into January because I cannot wait. I am obsessed with Crescent City. Like I just want to reread all of her books, and I still have 3 more in this series. to read. I have Empire Storm, Tower of Duns, and Kingdom of Ash left, and I'm gonna put them off until I feel like reading those books. Yes, this absolutely obsessed. 5-star, amazing book. Ugh. The next book I read was The Natural. Now, what made me pick this book up is because I seen Larry Reed talking about it, and she was saying how it reminded her of Criminal Minds, and I'm obsessed with Criminal Minds. Like, I would binge Criminal Minds the whole season, like every season and every episode. I think I watched that show like 5 times already, straight through and through. Absolutely love Criminal Minds. So when she said that, I went out, grabbed this book. It's basically about some teenagers, Cassie, and I don't even remember the rest of the kids' names, but they're all naturals at something. And you have 2 natural profilers. You have a empath, I would say you would call him, because he can tell when someone is lying. You have the girl the girl tell who's lying, the guy who tell how you feeling, and then you have a girl who is good at math. So I'm obsessed with this book. If you haven't read The Natural, like, I have the entire not this season, the entire series. I have a Killer Instincts, All In, Bad Blood. As soon as she mentioned that this reminded her of Criminal Minds, I went out about the whole series without even reading the first book, and I'm glad I did because I'm obsessed. So that's that. I gave this book a 4 stars or 4.75. I'm not even sure if I told you that, but yes. Now the last book I read in May was Arc. It was called Safe Harbor by Kay Sinkles. It's basically about this girl and her twin who she ended up having to move to, I forgot the island's name, but she ended up having to move to this small town because her brother got in some trouble. You know how athletes are. They go to school, they want to follow their peers, do drugs, drink alcohol, and search up the trigger warnings before reading this book because it does touch on addiction and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a pretty good book. I gave the book a 4-star. Amazing book. Love the small town romance. She worked at an ice cream shop. That's like the one book that made me want to eat ice cream all day while reading that book. Love that book. Amazing book. Now on to June. I'm not really going to touch on my ratings on the books that I read in June, but I will show you guys what I've read so far in June. But if you want to know my thoughts and opinions, check out my reading wrap up for that. So, oh Lord, hold on, because I read a lot of books this month, which is amazing. So let's pick up a few first because, like I said, I think I read like over 15 books so far. So these are a few of the books I read. Twisted Hate, Yours Truly, Crush, Fourth Wings, Ace of Spades. I did a video on Ace of Spades, Fourth Wings. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, you can actually go watch that now. Then I read People We Meet on Vacation, Renegades, Cheat Sheets. I love Sarah Adam books. The way that her writing is so amazing. It's crazy to me. Meet Me at the Lake, Ignite Me. I actually read Restore Me. Let me grab that for you too. Restore Me, When in Rome, If He Had Been With Me, and last but certainly not least, Part of Your World. And then I also read Flawless on my Kindle, which by Elsie Silver. I ordered the physical copy of that book and the rest of her books, so it should be here sometime in the next couple days. So yes, I ordered that. Then I also read A Curse So Dark and Lovely. It's a Beauty and Beast retelling. I read that as well, so I had to get a physical copy of that book as well. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read so far this year. I'm really having a great reading experience. I'm so glad that I got back into reading because it gives me an escape from real life. Not that I really need one, but it really just gives me somewhere fun to go without going somewhere, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.